Welcome to the beautiful island of Oahu. Over the next 7 days, we're gonna be showing you the best things to see, the best things to do, and the best places to eat. We have visited Hawaii over 10 times, and we cannot wait to bring you along on this incredible adventure. Let's dive into it. Oahu is the island that has it all. Legendary surf, jaw-dropping hikes, hidden waterfalls, sacred temples, and some of the best food in Hawaii. In this video, we're giving you the ultimate 5-day itinerary to experience it all. We're taking you hiking up volcanoes at sunset, swimming in the most beautiful bays on the island, kayaking in the turquoise waters of Lanikai, exploring mountains straight out of Jurassic Park, and ending each day with unforgettable Hawaiian eats. If you're ready for the adventure of a lifetime, let's get started. And thank you to OM Systems for sponsoring today's video. If you guys are new here, we're Giselle and Steven, also known as the Lover's Passport, and we're taking you on a new bucket list adventure every single week of the year. We visited over 44 different countries and 35 different US states. And out of all the places we've gone, we keep coming back to Hawaii year after year. And we are so excited to show you one of our favorite islands out there. With that, let's go ahead and dive into the video. It's really important to remember that Hawaii is not just a vacation destination, it's home to a very special culture. So as visitors, it's our responsibility to leave no trace, wear reef-safe sunscreen, shop local whenever possible, and respect both the land and the people. So before we jump into the full itinerary, we want to help you get acquainted with the island. Oahu is known as the gathering place, and it's the most visited island in Hawaii. It's divided into 4 main regions: the South Shore, which is home to Honolulu and Waikiki, where most visitors stay, and it's lively, it's walkable, it's full of hotels and restaurants and amazing nightlife. Next up is the East Side. This is the windward coast and is known for calm turquoise waters, kayaking, and some of the island's most beautiful beaches like Lanikai and Kailua. Next is the North Shore. This is legendary for surfing in the winter and laid-back beach vibes in the summer. It's also where you'll find most of the food trucks and slower island life. Last but not least, we have the West Side, the Leeward Coast, which is less touristy and much more local. This is where all of the dolphin snorkeling tours leave from the island.
For this trip, you're going to be flying into the Honolulu International Airport. The airport code is HNL if you're looking it up, and you can find some pretty good flight deals actually throughout the year depending on when you're going to visit. Steven and I happen to get a really sweet deal on Southwest. If you guys want to be notified about how we find cheap flight deals both on cash fares and points and miles, check out Thrifty Traveler. That's where we get all of them. I'll link the coupon code that you can use down in the description below, as well as put the QR code right over here for you. It's an amazing resource for finding incredible cheap flight deals, especially out to Hawaii. Every time we've gone out there the last 5 years, we've used this software. Typically, you'll be flying out from the west coast of the US if you are doing a direct flight. So that's typically out of LAX, Seattle, San Francisco. It's usually going to be around a 5 to 6 hour flight from the west coast. So keep that in mind. It is a little bit longer of a flight, so get cozy. Now, once you land, are you gonna need a rental car to get around the island? And that kind of depends on how long your trip is. For a 5-day trip like this, if you are wanting to visit all parts of the island and you're basing yourself in Waikiki or Honolulu, I would strongly recommend renting a car. Every time we visit, we always personally rent a car. I use the service Turo. It makes it super easy. You're supporting locals that way, and it's very easy pickup and drop off, typically from the international parking garage at the airport. There is public transportation around Honolulu, so there is like a free shuttle bus downtown if you're staying within Waikiki. But if you want to get up to the North Shore or you want to get further away, it's not as reliable of a method of transportation. So that's where I would recommend having a car, or only renting a car when you are planning on leaving Honolulu for those kinds of day excursions, or booking a tour that has pickup included that will take you up to the North Shore or around the island to like Kualoa Ranch, for example, because those are all going to be at least an hour drive or so from Waikiki. And that'd be nice if you didn't want to rent a car your whole trip, especially because parking in Waikiki is a little bit crazy. You could also do it through the tour companies as well. Speaking of parking in Waikiki, let's chat about it because it definitely is a bit of a struggle to find parking down there during peak hours and peak season. There's lots of parking garages actually, but the ones in hotels will be anywhere from $30 to $70 to park there. So we typically avoided doing that, and we found some street parking via the meters in downtown. You might have to do a couple of laps in order to find it, but that was actually very affordable. It was about like $2 an hour. It's not impossible to find, but if you're not getting there early, it's going to be really difficult, especially around sunset times, which is why if you also want to use like Uber or rideshare or the free like Waikiki shuttle, that might be a better option at those peak times like sunset.
So when is the best time to visit Oahu? Oahu is a destination you can visit year-round, but our recommendation for the best time to visit changes depending on what you're looking for. Winter from November to February, it's known for having big surf on the North Shore and whale watching, and is slightly cooler and has more rainy weather. In the summer, from June to August, it is the best time for calm waters, snorkeling, and swimming, especially in Waimea Bay. In the spring and fall, it has fewer crowds, it has more mild weather, and it's a sweet spot if you're looking for really good deals on hotels and accommodations. Our tip is shoulder season. We actually visited Hawaii during September this past time and felt like there were less crowds, it was a better overall price, and honestly, we only got rained on one full day.
It's raining.
We've also visited in May and August, so technically there's no bad time to go, but I would definitely recommend one of the shoulder seasons to avoid the expensive price tag that also comes along with Hawaii. Next up is where should you stay on Oahu? There's really three main options. Number one is Waikiki, which is the most popular options because it's so close to the airport, it's very relaxing, it has great nightlife, amazing hotels, and it's where most of the high rises are going to be found.
This week we are staying here in Waikiki as our base for this Hawaiian adventure. We've come here, I've probably been here 10 plus times throughout my life because I do have family on the island, and you can base really anywhere. Waikiki, you're gonna find the most availability. You're also gonna find the most like chain hotels and whatnot. If you want more like B&Bs and small family rentals, you're gonna be looking somewhere else most likely. This week we're basing here at the Modern, which is a Hilton Vacation Club property.
All right, here is a little walkthrough of the hotel. We have this massive couch as soon as you walk in. We have the bedroom, very big, very nice and cozy. Shower and the bathroom. So we actually have two balconies. Here's one balcony looking out over the harbor. This is the second balcony. See a little bit of downtown Waikiki over there. And then we have this beautiful view of the water.
We're actually working with them for a little commercial, which is really cool. If you guys are interested in learning how to work with hotels as content creators, make sure to sign up for our newsletter where we detail all these kinds of tips about becoming a travel creator bi-weekly. So we'll also link a few of our other recommended properties around Waikiki, along with some other areas as well as the North Shore and in Lanikai area.
Next up is the North Shore, which is great for going for more of a laid-back surfer vibe type of vacation, but it does have a lot less accommodations and a lot less food options. Next up is the West Side. This is known for having high-end luxury resorts. If you just want to stay at the resort all day, this would be where we would recommend because it's very nice for families. This is where you'll find the famous Disney Hotel as well as the Four Seasons and other accommodations at that level. We personally would recommend staying in Waikiki for your first visit and then spending maybe a night or two up in the North Shore if you really want to go and see the surf.
So now that you know where to stay, when to visit, and how to get around, let's jump into an ideal 5-day adventure itinerary around Oahu. For day one, you're going to be staying in Waikiki and Honolulu, doing the iconic highlights of the area. It's super easy because typically most of the hotels will be down here anyways. So when you're checking in, you don't have to go too far to already start experiencing the natural beauty of this island. One of the most iconic things to do here, of course, is take a surfing lesson. I'll put a link in the description down below if you guys want to book it online. But Hawaii is known for surfing. They popularized surfing. And so like you have to get out on the water and try it, especially in Waikiki where the water is so warm and so beautiful. And it's a perfect beginner surfer spot. After that, we'd recommend getting yourself acquainted by walking around downtown, going and looking through all the shops, checking out the local restaurants. There is so much good food in this particular area of Oahu. I will say, out of visiting all the other Hawaiian islands, Oahu definitely has the best food. If you're up for a little hike, we would definitely recommend doing Diamond Head on your first day.
We just got here to hike the very famous Diamond Head Crater Trail. I've been doing this trail since I was a little girl. It's a very easy hike. It's about 1.5 miles, a couple 100 feet of elevation gain, and you do need a permit to reserve your parking here in advance if you are not a Hawaiian resident. So I'll put the QR code for that right over here so you guys can make your reservations, but you'll want to make sure that you plan ahead because this is one of the most popular things to do in Oahu.
We made it to the top of Diamond Head here. When you get to the top, you can go down into the bunker and check that out. You can also go up to the very top. You have beautiful views over all of Waikiki. The whole way up, you walk in between these type of rails. It took around 30 minutes, was exactly 1 mile from the parking lot all the way to the very top. According to my Apple Watch, we went up around 490 feet. So pretty easy hike. It was really nice, honestly, doing it a little bit later in the day because we've been in the shade when you're going up the super steep sections of the stairs. At the very top, it will be crowded. And one thing to note here is they do close the entire park at 6 p.m. So you have to leave the summit by around 5:30. So it's around 5 o'clock right now. We're gonna start heading back and see if we can make it. If you're looking for something right outside the city, I would definitely recommend it. And if you're in Waikiki and you did not rent a car, I'll go ahead and put a QR code right here where you can book a tour that brings you up here so you can still take in the stunning view.
Make sure to bring water and lots of sun protection because the trail is pretty exposed the whole way. If you happen to be visiting on a Saturday, I would also recommend checking out the farmers market right next to Diamond Head. That's one of my favorite things to do. It's only available on Saturdays in the morning until 11 a.m. So you do have to kind of plan your trip around that. But if you're going to be over in the Diamond Head area, I always love going over there and seeing the local vendors. And if you really like to pack in your itinerary, today would be a great day to go and do a tour of Pearl Harbor. If you are a World War II or just a history buff, you have to do this at least once. I've done the tour a couple of times. There is so much history here and it's a very important event in Oahu's history. So I would 100% recommend going to immerse yourself in the history because World War II shaped the island a ton. I'll put a QR code for that tour right over here as well as in the description box below. And lastly, if you're still feeling it for sunset, we definitely recommend going up to the Tantalus Lookout. This is one of the most beautiful sunset spots in all of Oahu, and it's a drive-up spot, which is really nice. You can also do a hike in this area if you're still feeling like you have a ton of energy, but it's beautiful. There's spots to picnic if you want to bring a little picnic basket, and it's just super casual and has a really nice view of the city. Now let's talk food for day one because like I said, there's lots of really good food here. I would recommend stopping for breakfast at Island Vintage Coffee. There's a couple of locations around Oahu. One of the easiest ones to get to if you're staying in Waikiki is at the Royal Hawaiian Center. The acai bowls are to die for. Pro tip, order it online. There's always a huge line outside the door of that one. When we got there and there was a huge line, our order was ready. We could just walk right in and grab our coffees. I loved the island latte. It's like a macadamia nut and coconut latte, and it was a 10 out of 10. Next, if you're looking for a sweet treat, you could go to Leonard's Bakery. This is where you're gonna get some of the most delicious pastries on the island.
Trying the famous Leonard's Bakery. We're going in for the original. Very warm. They're served fresh daily. It smells like a masada? Ooh. Oh, that is good.
They are known for their malasadas, which is a Portuguese donut basically, but they were delicious. My favorite one was the one with the coconut cream in the middle, but their cinnamon one was also really good, and the macadamia nut one was delicious. And last but not least, you'll have to try the famous Marugame Udon, which is the most famous ramen restaurant in downtown Waikiki, and it is famous for a reason. Now, if you see a line wrapping around the corner, it's very normal. The line does move very quickly, but it is 100% worth the hype. These were some of the freshest udon noodles I've ever had. You can watch them hand make them through the window, and they've got it all figured out. That was probably the most efficient service I've ever had at a really busy restaurant in Hawaii, but also just in the US. They got you in and out of there so fast. The food was amazing. The flavor was phenomenal. I had the curry ramen. I would definitely recommend getting that. It had some really nice spice to it. But we were in and out of there within 45 minutes between waiting in line, getting our food, and eating. So a lot about an hour or so for your time there, because the line does move very quickly. Now, this trip we've been bringing around the OM5 Mark II camera to capture our adventures around Oahu and just check out some of the photos that we were able to get. This camera is the perfect lightweight travel camera for beginners. It's really nice for me when I'm taking videos and photos that I can carry this around in my backpack and not have it weigh it down. It literally produces such nice colors in the camera. I notice it so much as a photo editor on Lightroom. When you're in Hawaii and you're worried about tropical rain, sand, sunscreen, all that stuff getting on your camera gear, you don't have to even think about it with this new camera because it is weather sealed. So that's something to add in terms of peace of mind. It also has up to 7.5 stops of stabilization, which if you've been to Oahu before, you know how crazy windy it can get on some of these hikes. So that is a really nice feature if you are taking video, how nice and smooth the video comes out on this camera. And lastly, I love how diverse the lens is. You can get some really wide shots, but also some really nice compressed shots just within one lens. And so I will make sure to link the exact camera and lens that we are using down below in the description. And thank you again to OM Systems for sponsoring today's video. For day 2, we're gonna head over to the eastern side of the island over near Kailua. And you'll have to start your day with one of the most famous hikes on the island, which is the Lanikai Pillboxes. This sunrise hike overlooks turquoise waters and the Mokulua Islands, and it's absolutely stunning. And I would allot about 1 to 2 hours for this hike, depending on how fast you are. I think Steve and I got up to the top in like 15, 20 minutes, but we're much quicker and we've done that trail several times. Now, I will say a couple of things because I've been doing this hike since I was a teenager, and it's completely changed over the past couple of years as it's gotten more and more popular. If you do a quick blog search, it's one of the top 10 things to do on Oahu for sure. But that being said, it's located in a residential neighborhood. This is actually in the neighborhood where my family lives, and the parking can get really crazy because there's no official parking lot here. So plan accordingly. Don't park like a moron. Please park on the correct areas. People recommend on all trails parking at like Kailua Beach Park and then walking over, so that way you are not blocking any street. You'll want to make sure you're wearing really grippy shoes. It's a very eroded hike now and pretty steep and short. So I have definitely seen people take some spills on this hike in the past. Not this time around, but just make sure you're careful. You have some water. If you're doing it not at sunrise, you're doing it midday, make sure you bring sunscreen. It's a completely exposed hike. There's no shade on this trail. Just come prepared and be a smart and respectful hiker. Also, if you're gonna do it at sunrise, last note is to bring a headlamp because you can get a little disoriented if it's really dark, and make sure you download your trail data on all trails. I'll put a link for that right over here. After you do the hike, plan on staying over in this area for a beach day. Truly, this is one of my favorite beaches in the whole world, both at Kailua and in Lanikai. You can kind of bounce around between the two. In fact, if you do a tour or rent kayaks or anything like that from a Kailua Beach outfitter, you can usually get access to bikes and ride in between the two beaches, which is really fun, and I highly recommend it. We actually did a kayaking tour out to Flat Island over here, which was so much fun. I'll link it right over here for you as well as in the description. You also have the opportunity to head out and kayak over to the Mokes, which is also an incredible paddle, but you'd want to be more intermediate advanced for that one as it is longer. They are bird sanctuaries and you'll get a ton of wildlife.
If you're an adventure lover, one of the things you have to do while you visit Oahu is get on a trail and go hiking. There's a couple of different kinds of trails you'll find out here, like ridge hikes are some of our favorites because they usually have a little more rock climbing and scrambling. There's also some crater hikes like Cocoa Head and Diamond Head, and there's also a ton of waterfall hikes. So you can kind of go on all trails and figure out which hikes would be the best for your interests and your skill and your experience, because hiking out here is no joke. So I do want to say, one, make sure you are bringing some sort of rain jacket because the weather does change here pretty quickly and you want to be prepared. Make sure you bring your 10 essentials. You bring a good pair of hiking shoes, whether that's hiking sandals or actual hiking shoes with good grip. You have a day pack with lots of water, sunscreen, bug spray, and you're just being super safe while you're out here on the trail. If you're above your skill level, turn around. Nothing is worth, putting yourself in danger and then having people have to come and rescue you. So 100% just make sure you're prepared. The hikes out here are absolutely stunning, but make sure when you are choosing a hike, if you go on all trails, it should let you know if the hike is going on private property, if you need a permit, if the trail is closed, and these are constantly changing because some of the hikes we had done 5 years ago, for example, are now closed. So make sure if you are like seeing a hike that's cool on Instagram or something and you want to do it, make sure that you check if it's still open.
For food today, you can check out the Sunrise Shack in Kailua for an acai bowl or for some avocado toast, as well as some coffee, or bullet coffee is what they're known for. They also have a ton of locations around the island. It originated in the North Shore and then it spread to other locations around the island. It's very aesthetic. You've probably seen it all over Instagram, but this location is just as good as the North Shore location. If you wanted to grab food in Waikiki area instead and not do Lanikai for sunrise, but perhaps later in the morning, then I would recommend stopping at Aloha Kitchen and getting some of their souffle pancakes. They were so good. The mac nut with the banana, phenomenal. And if you want a nice little stop for happy hour, I'd recommend checking out Lanikai Brewery. It's delicious and it has a ton of options for any beer lover. And if you're looking for a more fine, formal dinner, you can also check out Buzz's Steakhouse.
Day 3 is going to be mostly outdoor adventures and hidden gems, starting off with Coco Crater. This is famous for the crazy stairs that lead up to the top of Coco Crater. This is actually known for being the stairmaster of Oahu and has over 1,000 steps up an old World War II railway track leading up to this beautiful view that is great during sunrise or sunset. You'll also find a lot of locals here just hiking up to the top for their daily workout routine. I will also put it out there that it is nice because it is so close to Waikiki. If you were looking for a great local spot that isn't a super dangerous hike on a ridge or deep into the forest, this would be a really nice spot to get to the top of a volcano and still have a really nice view of Diamond Head, downtown Honolulu, and even the coast. Another thing you can do is go get surf lessons in Waikiki or even do a turtle snorkel right off the coast. They're so easy. We'll go ahead and link our favorite tours right over here. So all you have to do is scan that before your trip to Hawaii. For sunset on this day, we recommend heading over to China Walls. This is our favorite little local spot. It gives you a beautiful view of sunset. And when you're there, you can go scuba diving, you can go cliff jumping, you can just relax on the beach. There's always going to be a good crowd there doing a lot of different activities. It's just an overall super fun vibe. I would recommend getting there at least an hour early there because it does get pretty busy. Today we're gonna go to one of the best poke spots in all of Oahu. You're either gonna go to Maguro Spot or Ono Seafood. The lines might be long, but honestly, everything in Waikiki moves pretty quickly. If you're looking for a great brunch spot to go on this day, we would recommend heading over to Sweet Ease Cafe. It's such a fun vibe and you have to get the stuffed French toast. We would recommend getting the banana stuffed French toast, but everything there is delicious. It's big portions. You're gonna find a lot of locals there and it is totally worth the wait. On day 4, you are going to be heading up to the North Shore, which is the birthplace of big wave surfing. One spot you have to go is Waimea Bay. In the summer, it's calm and it's perfect for swimming, and in the winter, it's home to waves over 30 feet tall. It hosts some of the world's most famous surf competitions. Another spot to visit in this area is Sharks Cove. This is one of the best snorkel spots in the entire island. Just please make sure to wear reef safe sunscreen and don't touch any of the coral in the cove. You want to make sure that you protect this area as much as possible. And last but not least, you need to go and check out Sunset Beach. This is an iconic spot when it comes to surfing. It's right next to Pipeline, and it's also a stunning spot to watch the sunset, hence the name Sunset Beach. Another must-do thing in the North Shore is going shark diving with One Ocean. We actually did this activity back in 2022 and it was so much fun. I would recommend doing the free dive version instead of the cage dive, just because the cave dive encourages people to still continue to be scared of sharks, when in reality, sharks are not that scary. And it was really cool seeing One Ocean be able to talk to us about the history and the science of sharks, to where we can appreciate their beauty and have fun swimming with them rather than constantly being scared of them due to the movie Jaws that was created years ago. So definitely add this to your bucket list, and we recommend going with One Ocean. We did a lot of research and they were the ones that we thought did the best job of preserving the sharks and still making it a very fun activity. Make sure to scan the QR code right here if you want to check out your own shark diving tour with One Ocean. If you're looking for food in the North Shore, there are 2 places you have to try. Number 1 is Matsumoto Shaved Ice. This place was insane. It is always going to have a very long line, but it's efficient, they move quick, and it is the best shaved ice on the island. We would recommend getting it with condensed milk and ice cream on the inside. It was so delicious. Another famous spot to go is Giovanni's Shrimp Truck. It will also always have a long line. All right, guys, I'm not gonna lie. They're not worth the hype. They're good, but I've definitely had better shrimp. They're good though. I personally thought it was a little overhyped, but I'll let you make your own decision. You definitely have to try the garlic shrimp. One thing we do want to mention is when you are heading up or back down to the North Shore, you want to make sure you leave Waikiki early because the traffic can get a little bit insane. So make sure you take that into account when planning your trip.
And finally, day 5, this is gonna be your adventure day around Kualoa Ranch. Kualoa Ranch is a must visit for adventure lovers, from ATV tours through Jurassic Park filming sites to zip lining and horseback rides. This is one of the most scenic valleys on the island, but you wanna make sure that you book early because tours do book out pretty far in advance. I'll make sure to list all of the top ones in the description box below for you, but my favorite would probably be the ATV tour, which I'll link right over here. If you're fans of shows like Lost or any Adam Sandler movie that was filmed out here, or of course the Jurassic Park series, you're gonna love these kinds of tours in this area because basically every famous film in Hawaii has had some sort of filming in this area. Next, you can check out the Valley of the Temples and the Botanical Gardens. These both have some gorgeous views of the mountains in the background. And the Byodo Inn Temple is a gorgeous cultural stop. It's a replica of a Japanese Buddhist temple built to honor the first Japanese immigrants to Hawaii. It's a serene cultural stop that's tucked into the mountains. So if you have a chance to check that out, as well as the famous botanical gardens, which by the way, you are not allowed to park your car and get out of the car for photos there. That's been outlawed the past couple of years. So if you've seen some photos on Instagram, they're either old or people are doing it illegally. So just take in the view of the botanical gardens from your car, or you can park your car and walk around the lot. You're not allowed to run around on the road. And for one more cultural immersion stop, you might want to check out the Polynesian Cultural Center. I would recommend doing this in the afternoon or evening. And if you're attending a luau, I would highly recommend doing one here. You can spend the afternoon learning about the traditions of Hawaii and the Polynesian Islands. And it's one of the best cultural experiences on Oahu to really immerse yourself in the history and culture here. And once you're all done there, you can check out some of the best restaurants in Waikiki. We loved our dinners over at Tiki's and at Paia Fish Market, depending on the vibe you want. Paia Fish Market is much more casual. Tiki's is more of a larger restaurant overlooking the beach for sunset kind of vibe. So it just depends on what you're looking for there.
And that is it for our ultimate guide to Oahu. I hope you guys got a ton of value from this. If you want to see any of our other Hawaiian island recommendations, we will have a playlist right up here, and make sure to stick around because next week we have our top 10 tours in all of Oahu. Make sure to give us a like and subscribe, and with that, we'll see you next week with another bucket list adventure.